We're going to go ahead and get started. We do have a handful of new participants in here, so we're going to go ahead and get started with the webinar. You should see a parts and service module. It says Motility Demo up at the top. And of course, the purpose of this webinar is to cover how to use the warranty credits tool. Warranty credits, of course, is how you would receive payments in the form of checks or warranty credits against the claims that you made to a warranty company. And we definitely can't talk about this without, the first thing I want to say is to refer you to your resources. So when you, I'm going to go ahead and walk through the whole process and show you how it works, but if you are going to be training any of the users at the dealership how to do this, what you'll want to do is go to motilitysoftware.com, go up to Support Center, and click on Knowledge Base. So Knowledge Base, if you have been with Sys2K for a while, you might remember that the Knowledge Base used to have a list of new features that we recently added to the software. In fact, you can still see the old Knowledge Base if we go to Browse Archived articles. It used to look something like this, where you put in the version of the software and you'd see a list of articles that basically cover the new features, but it's not very helpful for a new user. I'm happy to say that the Knowledge Base right now is a curated list of knowledge that you can use. So these are actually articles that describe how to use the software, and you can use these as a reference for new users or as a reference for yourself. Again, I'm going to walk through this whole process, but when you get back to your desk and you feel a little lost, go to the Support Center, go to Knowledge Base, and scroll down to the very bottom. There's one document. It's called Warranty Clerk Procedures, and this is going to be a document that talks you through everything I'm going to talk you through, and even a little bit more. So this document is going to cover how to use. It's going to talk about how to submit warranty claims, which I'm not going to talk about this too much in the webinar, but it is important that you're submitting warranty claims correctly. So that it talks about that, and then it moves on to the warranty credit screen, and it talks about all the steps of how to add a warranty credit, how to do a payment, how to do a credit memo with screenshots, and it's very complete and it's accurate. So feel free to use that as a resource if you try to do this on your own and you get a little lost. Go to motilitysoftware.com, go to Knowledge Base. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be talking about 405 warranty credit in parts and service, which is under the service menu. Now, this is also accessible from the accounting portion of the software. So if we go to the main menu and open up accounting, you're also going to see the same tool located over here on the left under, it's called O2 warranty credits if you're in accounting. The reason why it's in both places is because some dealerships, it is the service department who receives a credit memo or who receives those checks from the warranty company. And at other dealerships, it may be your accounting department who does that. So we have the same tool accessible in both places, but really using it's going to be exactly the same no matter where you're getting to it from. So that won't change anything about this webinar. So to get in there, it's just a single click to open up the warranty credit screen. And this is the tool we programmed to make it easy to receive those checks from the warranty company or credit memos. So if you're wondering, maybe there may be a step before this, which is to see what claims you have outstanding from the warranty company or what claims have been submitted. So we do have reports that you can run. If we go to accounting reports and then warranty receivable reports, there are two reports that you can use to see what claims are outstanding. The first one's going to be the warranty aging report. And then for more detail, you can go into the warranty transaction report. Aging report, you can leave all these filters blank and just hit show reports, aged from today's date. And an aging report will show you 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120, and then more than 120. as far as how old these claims are, how long we've been waiting to be paid. So generally, you're not going to want to see anything go past 90 days on here. You will have wanted to use warranty credits to write off those claims. So I'm going to be showing you that whole process today. But this is kind of the first step to see, okay, what warranty companies do we have? And as an example, if we look at Winnebago, you can see that they have $0 outstanding in the 30 days. They have $163 in the 60-day range, $50 in the 90-day range, and then $98,788 in 121 days plus. So when you run this as your own system, you shouldn't see a whole bunch of stuff in the 121 plus. That's just because it's my test system. But that's your aging report. You're going to see your claims kind of age out this way. And then, of course, if you need more detail, you can run the warranty transaction report, which actually gets a little more granular. You have to pick your posting month. So if I want to see it for today, I'll do posting month 5, 2019, and then just hit show reports. So this shows you the same information, but it's broken out by claim number. So if I were looking at Debit, for example, this is the total amount of money on the aging report, but we get to see all the individual claims and exactly what the transaction date is. And this should be the first place to look in your system. If you're not seeing this information come over accurately, the reason is probably because the service department is not submitting the claims correctly to show that they've been submitted for payment. So that's kind of a different part. I'm not going to talk too much about how to submit those claims, just how they should look when you do your warranty credits. Okay, so that takes care of the reports that you want to look at. The next thing is what to do in the warranty credit screen. So to get started on this screen, always start by hitting the add button at the bottom. All right, and then we can go to this middle section and put in the warranty receivable company. The fastest thing you can do, again, you can hit the 3 dots over here and you can search your warranty company. So for example, I can put Winnebago and search for all my Winnebago entity numbers. But the fastest thing, and certainly if you're in the habit of doing this on a daily basis, you can just type the entity number that you want. I know that 511 is the entity number for Winnebago. So when I type that in and hit enter, Winnebago loads up here, and then we can move on to the next step, which is picking your cash clearing account. This is the account that's used for the debit of this accounting transaction. So it's basically if they're going to be writing you a check, which clearing account is that check going to go into? All right, so then you go over to the debit amount and you can actually put in the amount of the check that is being sent. All right, so once you've got that done, you can drop down to the claim number section and hit that drop down arrow. It's going to bring up a list of all those claims from that warranty transaction report. All the same claim numbers, all the same amounts that you would have seen looking at Winnebago. So what I'm going to do here is just go ahead and pick a claim. Let's say this $109. So when I actually pick that claim from that drop-down arrow, it automatically fills out the credit amount, debit account, debit amount. So it's putting it in as though there's $109 being received right now. So if that's really what's going on, if my check is $109 and I put that in as my debit amount, my difference is going to go down to 0. And this would be a perfectly reasonable time to show that check coming in. The reference number at the top is always going to be the check number that you're receiving in. So in a perfect world, if you submitted for $109 and that was completely approved and they sent you a $109 check, this would be the way to get this screen to work. The difference is 0. So my next steps here would be to hit the save button and then finally mark it as completed. When I mark it as completed, a little window pops up that creates the accounting transactions. And if I go back into my warranty transaction report now, I'm going to see that this $109 has been totally wiped off. The aging report, it falls off the aging report and it falls off your transaction report. And that's it. The next step would be you can hit the add button again to do the next check that you're receiving. And the process basically continues. So I put in the warranty company up here, make sure my cash clearing is accurate. Now I'm going to run through another scenario, which is say for example, we hit the drop-down list, you can see that my claim for $109 has actually fallen off. There's a second claim for $109 here that I'm going to use. So if I pick that claim number, if, for example, if the check was a little bit less than or more than the amount that was claimed, I'm going to show you how to do an overage or a shortage, which again, it's all covered in that document on the knowledge base. But to do a shortage, the way it works is after you've picked the claim in the drop-down list, what you do is you come over here and you just manually type in the amount that was actually approved and sent as a check. So for example, if it was $100 even, I'm going to change the credit amount to $100. And then I'm just going to take the mouse and click it on anywhere on this next line with the star character next to it, that gray line down there. Just click anywhere here, and the system will automatically put the same claim line and do what we call a shortage. So just by clicking the mouse on the second line, it's going to do the math for you. It's going to take the difference between the amount of the claim, which was 109, and the amount you typed, and it puts the difference in here on a second line. So what I need to do is then change the debit account. Because I'm being shorted this claim, I need to change the debit account to my warranty shortage expense account or a warranty shortage cost of sale account. So in our chart of accounts, our default chart of accounts, which I can search from this screen as well, we have a warranty claim denied expense. It's $86.80, but you may have warranty adjustments. You know, warranty service adjustments is a cost of sale account. So you basically need to decide which account you're going to use as your warranty shortages. And all you're going to do is put that account in as the debit account on that second line. Now moving on over, there are some newer features that were recently programmed, which is the warranty employee shows up here. And then we have a checkbox to apply the shortage to the warranty writer. So if that checkbox is checked, I'm able to run the warranty shortage report based on the warranty employee and get a listing of all my warranty employees and how much of a shortage are they actually incurring. So this warranty employee that it picked up is actually the person in parts and service who is submitting the claims on the work order. That's the person who's going to show up in here. So this allows you to run your shortage report and see how many shortages are applied to each writer. It may or may not be helpful for you. It depends on the size of the dealership. If you need to see top down and compare or maybe give commissions to your different warranty employees, that's really the purpose of this, is that we can either apply or not apply the shortage to this person's, their commissionable amount. And the same thing applies for overages as well. If you have a claim that is being overpaid, it works a little differently. So what I'm going to do is hit my drop-down list and pick a new claim. Let's say it's this $26 claim, for example. When I click it in the drop-down list, it automatically puts in the $26. So if it is being overpaid, you just basically do the same thing here. Oh yeah, and by the way, I know I mentioned this at the beginning of the meeting, but I did want to take a quick time out to mention that there is a Q&A section of this webinar. So if you do find yourself having any questions, feel free to post your questions in the Q&A. But as far as how we do overpayments, basically, you're going to want to make sure you pay the full $26, then drop down to the second line and pick the claim number again. And we can go ahead and put the overages into a different account for the credit amount. So in other words, with a shortage, we're putting the account over here in the debit account. For an overage, we put it in as the credit account. So in this case, if you do have some kind of a warranty revenue or something for overpayments, you could put a revenue account over here as the credit. Most places, when they're tracking shortages, they just see, okay, well, you use the same account for overages that you do shortages, and it pretty much goes in and out of the same account. But basically on this next line, you're going to put in that credit account, put in the amount that is being overpaid, and this is all going to add up. So let's say, for example, the check was $135. If that's the amount of the check, it's going to include obviously the $100 that's being shorted on this claim, and then the total was the $26 plus an additional $9 on this other claim. So the difference is going to be $135, and that means my difference is 0. So this is a perfectly well-suited claim. We can hit save. Well, I have to put in the amount of the check number, of course, and then we can hit save. We can mark it as completed. And that's going to fully take care of both of these claims because it's been shorted. Okay, so that's how we do shortages, how we do overages. There is another scenario I'd like to walk through. And do that, I'm going to hit add again. I'm going to run through, get my warranty company. You see, it's easy if you know the number. You don't have to search. You can just type it in and hit enter. So the other situation that sometimes happens is when you have a partial payment, but you're going to go ahead and resubmit under the same claim number. So if that's what's going on, what you would do is hit the drop-down arrow, pick your claim, and of course you're going to type in the amount that you're paying. Right now, let's say this was an $11,541.97 claim, but they only paid me $10,000 for it. That's all they paid. I could put in my debit amount of $10,000, of course, and as you can see, my difference is 0. So even though I have not taken care of the shortage yet, I can still save and mark this as completed. This is a totally valid way to receive a payment. And what's going to happen is the remaining balance, which would be a little over $1,000, $1,500. Well, I click on the next line, it'll do the math for me. It's $1,541.97. This amount will continue to age out past, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. So what that's going to mean is that I can continue to receive further checks against this amount. And so if I'm going to resubmit and get payment later on, you can just receive what they paid now, and then later on a future check, you can take care of the remaining balance. It'll continue to age out, in other words. So that's perfectly fine. I would put in my check number here, hit save, mark it as completed. And of course, the next time I go into the system, I'm going to look at this claim number 11886, and it's going to have the remaining, $1,500 waiting to be paid. So that's perfectly fine. All right, so the last scenario, and again, this is all in that document that talks about these scenarios, is when you have not a check being sent to you, but sometimes your warranty company is also your part supplier. And instead of cutting a check, they'll actually approve the claim, but they'll apply it as a credit against an existing parts purchase that you owe them for. Or possibly they put a credit against a future parts purchase. So those credits can be entered in on this screen as well. As the name suggests, it's warranty credits. So to do a warranty credit instead of an actual check payment, you hit the add button. Same process, put in your warranty receivable company 511. But you're going to take the additional step of moving over to this top right-hand side and go ahead and put that same company number over here on the right. Now in this section, you're going to have to take the step of picking which AP account you'd like to use for your payable. Accounts payable 2100 is probably fine, since that's where probably most of your parts purchases are going to go into that account anyway. So you're going to pick 2100. And then the process is relatively the same for the rest of it. You can drop down to your claim number, drop down arrow, pick your claim number. The difference now is because I came up here to the top right, the system is going to automatically pick the debit account of 2100 instead of the 1000 like it was doing before. But the process is roughly the same. If I have to do a shortage, for example, let's say they only paid $8,000 on this claim. I would put in the 8,000 and then drop down to the next line, and it'll do the math for me. So I can either leave this to be received later on as a credit, or I can just go ahead and write it off by changing my debit account to my warranty shortage GL account. So I'll hit the 3 dots here to search, hit find, And I know it was an expense account, warranty claims denied. So there we go. And that would be my shortage. Now, to make this balance, my difference is $8,000. I have to put in the debit amount here, the $8,000, to show that that's how much of a credit that they're giving me. And this will show up as basically it shows up as a negative amount in the check writer. So when you go to pay Winnebago for the parts that they sent you, you can pay all your receiving tickets for the parts and then also pay this negative $8,000, and it's either going to wash out, or maybe they'll owe you a little money, or maybe you owe them a little money. But basically, it all flows through accounts payable, where those parts receiving tickets are going to be sitting, and it all balances out that way. All right, so that takes care of all the scenarios that you're going to have using warranty credits, and we've described in pretty good detail how they go onto the reports. If I were to run any of these reports now, once I've saved it, marked it as save it, mark as completed, all of these dollar amounts for these claims are going to fall off that report. And this is the correct way to manage your warranty receivable, is make sure all your credits get entered in and all your checks get entered in using the warranty credits tool. All right. Now I don't see any Q&A. I don't mind pausing for a moment. If you guys have any last minute questions, just go ahead and put them in the Q&A, and I'm happy to answer any questions anybody has. But just to reiterate, there are no questions in here, so I'll have to assume that I've answered all your questions. All right, so we're going to go ahead and bring the webinar to a close. I'll just kind of sum up again and let you know that if you've never done this before and it seems like you're a little confused, just open up your web browser, go to motilitysoftware.com, come up to Support Center, go to your knowledge base, and you're going to look under the section. These documents are in the accounting section and the service section. So pretty much the warranty clerk procedures is here under accounting, but you can also scroll all the way down in the service section. We have it here as well, warranty clerk procedures. If you know how to do warranty clerk and you just want a brief overview of the shortage overage process that you may not be familiar with, how to document a shortage, you can reference this shortage overage as well. Okay, all right, so I do have some Q&As coming up here. Yeah, Justin, you're asking, when I cash a claim, I click submitted and then cash the ticket. Okay, so yeah, you're confirming the process of submitting the claim in parts and service on those ROs. And the answer is yeah, he's asking, should he click submitted and then cash the ticket, which is basically true. You're going to mark those claims as submitted and cash out the work order, which I wasn't going to go into too much detail on, but honestly, we're finished so ahead of schedule. I don't mind walking you through that, Justin. So what he's asking about is how do I get those claims to even appear on the aging report? And the answer is you can use the warranty clerk section. So if you go to 400 invoicing and service and click warranty clerk, this should be a list of all the work orders that have been cashed out or closed, but the claims on them have not yet been submitted. So the correct process, and Justin is asking about the correct process, you know, what's supposed to happen is when the service department is done doing the work, including warranty work, they're supposed to just cash out the work order as soon as the unit rolls off the lot. When the work is done, you would click the cash out button, and then they show up here in warranty clerk. So even though these are cashed out invoices, I can still double click on them, open them up. And because there are unsubmitted warranty jobs, as you can see, this ticket has a policy charge and 2 warranty jobs. The policy ticket is completely sealed off. I can't put any parts on it. You know, the policy ticket is completely sealed off because it was cashed out. But if I click on repair 2, you can see that there's still a lot of changes I can make. I can add parts here. I can change the labor for my service techs. I can change the billable hours. that I'm charging the warranty company. I can even change the warranty company in this warranty info section. So even though it is cashed out, Warranty Clerk can still make these changes. But the important thing, of course, is to come down to that warranty tab at the bottom here. Go ahead and put in your claim number. You're supposed to type in the actual claim number from the warranty company. Whatever their numbering system is, you put it in as claim number here. And you can also put in some other information, like if you have a authorization code, for example, you can put that in. But all we really need is a claim number and, of course, the amount of the claim. So, for example, if this is $1,308, I would put in the net amount, which is $1,308. So at this point, we can mark the submitted checkbox, which then basically that checkbox is what will create the accounting transaction for this. And if I go down to job 3, this one, I have to hit the submitted checkbox on job 3 as well. So if I have 10 different jobs on here, all 10 would have to come in, put in the claim number for that particular job, and make sure the net amount is correct, and then mark that submitted. So there are some shortcuts. If you just mark it as submitted without having the net amount being accurate, it'll automatically ask you if you want to make them equal. So you can hit yes on that, and it'll put the amount in here that's supposed to be there. Once I've marked it as submitted and all the jobs have been submitted, I can close out this work order, and it just disappears. You don't have to cash it out a second time, in other words. Because it was cashed out when the unit rolled off the lot, you can go in and do what you need to do, mark them as submitted, and they immediately show up to be paid in that warranty clerk list. So that's the correct process. What I find a lot of times is that at the dealership, you may have a process which includes leaving the work order open even though the work is done. And you probably were doing that in your old software because your old software didn't allow you to make changes to a cashed out work order. So the correct way to do it in our system is to go ahead and cash it out, let the unit roll off the lot, and then as the warranty clerk submits the claims, use the warranty clerk section to keep track of that. And this should be your work list as a warranty clerk. I'm just looking at what the service department is done with. I'm seeing if I submitted it, I put the claim number in and mark the box and then just exit out of the work order, and it disappears. So at this point, then, of course, you can run your aging report, and I will see all these claims aged from today on those companies. All right, so that's kind of an overview of the correct process. And I know we just kind of took a couple extra minutes to go over that. So let's see if we have any other Q&As on here. Asking if when you save the transaction or warranty claim, can you make changes to it? Angelica has asked this. So what you're talking about is in warranty credit, if I've saved, can I go back in and make changes? The answer is yes. So what I can do is hit the search button, for example. And when you click search here, it's going to bring up all of your old, anything that you've started and saved is going to be in here. So even if you haven't marked it as completed, for example, you can see the date posted. If there's no date posted, it's probably something that was started and not marked as completed. Okay, so yeah, hit search, and you can go back into any of these. I can double click on them, and I can make the changes I need to. All right, so anyway, those are good questions. I think this is a good place to stop. We're a little over 30 minutes now, which is a good amount of time for warranty credits. If you do have further questions, please feel free to shoot an email to support@motilitysoftware.com and ask your questions there. If need be, we can set up a training session for you as well. But yeah, and then of course, be sure to go to the knowledge base and get those documents for the walkthrough. All right, guys, thanks for your attentiveness on the webinar. I'll go ahead and end the meeting for everyone. Hope you have a great rest of the day.